Hi, my name is Marilyn Mason. I have the pleasure of working with Rosedale. And in my former life, I was a registrar and then a vice president at King's University College at Western University. And the best part of my job was the fact that I got to see students every day and talk to them. And today's a great day for me as well because I'm doing this panel and I have the pleasure of being with three Rosedale grads who are now pursuing studies at different universities. And I'd love for them to introduce themselves, to tell us about their name, where they're from, what program they're in, at what university they're studying at. So Elizabeth, let's say ladies go first. Can I ask you, please?
Okay, my name is Elizabeth Oladikomla. I go by Melody, and I'm from Lagos, Nigeria.
Yeah.
I'm studying at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and I'm in my first year. And I plan to study computer engineering.
Sounds great. MIT. Congratulations. That's great. And Owen, tell us a little bit about your path, what you're doing.
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Owen Guo, and I'm from China. I came to Canada since 2017, and now I'm a first year master's student majoring in mathematics at McGill University.
Wonderful.
So it's my pleasure and honor to be here.
Yeah, it's delightful that you are here. And Louis, tell us about yourself, please.
Oh, yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Louis Huang. I also came from China. Currently, I'm studying at Queen's University in the Commerce program, or it is known as the Smith Commerce right now. And I'm currently a third-year student focusing on finance. And yeah, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Well, it's wonderful to have the three of you. You're at three different places, studying three different things at different points in your academic career. So I think that we'll be able to share some different perspectives. So thanks for being here this afternoon with me. When I think about way back when I had to choose my university, there were a number of reasons why I chose that university. And I'd love to hear from you why you chose your university. Was it where it was? Was it the program? Was it a scholarship? Was it advice from someone? Louis, why did you choose Commerce at Queen's?
Okay, so I have been, I've always have an interest in the finance industry or the financial service industry. And so before I came to Canada, I know that the best, I guess, two of them is Queen's Commerce, Smith Commerce, and Ivy at Western University. So those two were the ones that I initially was targeting at, but later on I came to understand that Ivy has this HBA program where you only got into the business school at third year. So that's a huge opportunity cost for international students. So that's why I eventually chose Smith over Ivy. But I'm not saying that it's not good for, but it's just in hindsight, like the Ivy program has its bright side where you got to learn from at a different discipline or major at the first 2 years, which is going to be beneficiary to you in the longer term because you'll have more exposure other than like commerce, business, or the.
Well, it's funny. I agree with you that there isn't a best place, but it's the best place for you. So you're telling us in a really clear way why Queen's Commerce was good for you because you're interested in the finance. So I think everybody should feel really positive about their choice. And it's not that we're being, negative about another place. It's just that it's all about finding the right choice, the best choice for you. So yeah,
absolutely.
And Owen, why did you choose where you did, other than the fact that Montreal's a great place to live?
Yeah. Actually, I totally agree with what you said. Like, it's all about the best choice for yourself, right? So, when I was in high school, I'm very interested in natural science and in specific mathematics. At the time, like everyone was like recommending the University of Waterloo for me because like that's the big name for say studying math in Canada, and it turned like it resulted that I did go to the University of Waterloo for my first year, but it turned out that I didn't like the it's like actually like the school environment because I find it mainly for pursuing jobs, and because me like for me personally, I do prefer this kind of academic environment. So I went around to visit school campus, and I really like McGill's atmosphere for academic study and also research. And another important factor is that I really like the course offerings at McGill University, like for the math program. So that's how I ended up transferring to McGill in the end for my undergrad study, and then I just like continue my study here as a master's student.
Good for you. I mean, it's part of the path, right? To not only choose a university, but then fall in the right program, the right place. And it's about learning more about yourself, right? And then finding, as you said, Louis, the best fit for you. So it sounds like you've all chosen great programs that suit you very well. I guess when I think about it too, were there individuals in your life that were influential, that provided advice that you felt was helpful? I think about parents or maybe siblings or a teacher or a guidance counselor. And so I'm interested to hear who you were talking to and who you felt, well, it might be all of the above or one of the above that was helpful in making your decision. How about you, Louis? What do you think?
So is it about my university or degree program decision?
Well, either. I guess making the whole decision. That's a good question back because they are two different things, aren't they? How about if we start with the university and then we can talk about the program after that?
Okay, because for me, since like program is more important from my perspective.
Let's say program then.
My point of view, because in the financial service industry, there's this idea of target schools. So it's targeting specific programs within some universities. So that's one of the first things I was considering. In terms of who I talked to regarding this choice, I guess just students who are enrolled in the program currently were a tremendous help to us back then. I think I'm getting a bit echo here, but anyway, I'll just carry on. So when I was doing my research, there's this article I read about in the Chinese social media, writing about Korean's commerce and what's good about it. And I think that article has a tremendous impact on a lot of students coming to this program at that specific year. A lot of us read that article and truly felt what is great about this place and agreed on what the value that they uphold here. We sometimes joke about the fact that probably Queen's Commerce, Smith Commerce, providing the best customer service for a student throughout Canada. But it's a really great experience so far, and I totally agree with what the article said before. And now I'm willing to contribute more to the international student community.
Well, that's great. And you pointed out something that I didn't add in my list, and I should have. The university profile, social media. Very influential. So WeChat, was it WeChat or Weibo?
I think it was on another platform. But WeChat has some reposts about that.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. Well, that's another good influencer. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah. And Lolade, what was the most influential person or people in your decision making?
Definitely my parents and my advisor, because we had a little back and forth discussion about like what would be the best school for me to go to. Even though like MIT has one of the best programs, I have to consider some other things like finances and other things. So there was a lot of discussion about that. And then also speaking to, because I knew some of the students here, so speaking to some of them really influenced my decision also. Yeah.
That's great. Exactly. Thank you. And I think everybody in our life has impact, right? It's kind of hard to decide which is the most important, and there's always that, as you said, back and forth. It's part of the dialogue, right? And how about you, Owen? How did who was the individual, or what was the factor that helped you make the decision?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say there would be like any like specific individuals that have very great impact on my decision, because
Right.
I would say like instead there are a lot of people, perhaps not very great impacts, but like the total sum of their impact could be a thing, right? Because in my high school, everyone was suggesting me to go to the University of Waterloo, but it turned out to
Right.
be it's not the right choice for me. But I really appreciate my parents who were always supporting me, like regarding like the decisions and choices I made.
Mhm.
Because perhaps like transferring like inter-university transfer might sound to be a thing, right? It could be I don't know, like perhaps making people not very reassuring to feel about
Right.
like say transfer from one university to another, but like they were supporting me, like giving me courage, like they were like, if this is something you want, you just like go for it, striking for it. So I really
That's
appreciate my family and parents. And I also regarding my a lot of friends that I made, like both at the University of Waterloo and McGill, they are like really, really good people, and they offer me great advice on like course selection. And yeah, so I also met a lot of good people, good professors here. And like
excellent.
the
Excellent.
advice and suggestions they offer me were all like very precious. So I do appreciate like basically everything, everyone that that I met with.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's nice to take a moment. For those of you who are watching during the forum, we're doing this on a Thanksgiving afternoon, and I think it's worth taking a moment and reflecting on something like this to thank the people in our lives and the indicators that help us get where we are. So I think everybody in your life that you're thanking would love to hear what you're saying. It's good to hear. But you have to give yourself credit too. I mean, ultimately, the decision was yours, and you've made good ones where you feel like you're at the place you should be in the program. So maybe I can take something a little bit less serious now. What do you do to relax at your university? Have you found a place you like or a thing that you do at McGill or MIT or Queen's that is a really good break from all of the hard work of study? How about you? You're smiling, Owen. What are you thinking about?
Yeah. Definitely like one thing is definitely hang out with my friends to
Great.
like the places around Montreal. It's really, really good to like go to some places to, like walk around, visiting some gardens, like just yeah. There's even like a recreation park, I guess, amusement park on
Yes.
the island next to Montreal. It's like on the river, and it's very cool. So it's really, I would say, like it's very, very like relaxing and exciting to go out, hang out with friends. That's one very good option
That's
to
great.
relax.
And part of
Yeah.
it is being with new friends or old ones and being in new places, discovering them together.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And how about you, Louis? Is there a special place on Queen's campus or in Kingston that you like to go to, or something you like to do that's a nice break from hard work?
I guess there's a few places. To start with, dining halls is a good place to start. Yeah, because we have probably one of the best buffet here, and sometimes a few friends would just come together to the dining halls for a break between classes or schoolwork, and then get back to work. And I'm also a big movie fan. So Kingston's a really small city. I'm pretty grateful we have an IMAX theater here. So because I learned in hindsight that IMAX is a Canadian company, so it doesn't really surprise me to have one here in a small city. So yeah, that's great. And apart from those, I guess most of us would travel to either Ottawa, Montreal, Toronto from time to time to take a break and experience the life in the big city. And yeah, that's about it.
Fantastic. Great. And how about you? You're in your first year, Lalodi. And what are you finding the good place to hang out or something fun to do that is a break from your studies?
So I usually just go on walks, because the campus is really beautiful and it's really just relaxing to go on walks around campus. But we also have study breaks here at MIT at my dorm. So the whole floor, they bring food for people on the floor, and then we come together and we just stay for an hour to stop studying and just talk to each other, hang out, to meet new people. Yeah, that's definitely what I do.
Excellent. Sounds like you've all found a way to get away from the hard work and have a bit of a break before returning to it. Yeah, I'm interested too. Two of you have chosen Canada. You've chosen the States, of course. Was that any part of your decision making? What country you went to, or was it really the university or the program? Focus on Canada, or was that part of your decision making, or other universities or other countries?
Sorry, so you were saying
No, we've got some sound in the background. I was just saying that two of you have chosen Canada, and Elizabeth, you've chosen the States. Was that a big part of your decision making, what country you went to, or was it more about the program or the university?
Okay, I think program in university, that's definitely one important factor. And I guess another thing perhaps is affordability. So I'll definitely take that into account as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes good sense. And how about you, Louis? What was your thinking about choosing Canada over another country?
Okay, so I won't get into the politics part of this, but that's definitely one of the considerations. But for me, other than that, it's about because I was transferring into Rosedale's OSSD at grade 12. So I took the Chinese college entrance exam back then. So for me, Gaokao. So for me, it wasn't enough time to take the SAT test back then. So there wasn't a lot of great options for me in the States. So that's one of the other reasons why I chose Canada.
Yeah, everything kind of falls together depending on the circumstances, doesn't it? Yeah.
Right.
And going to MIT in the United States, how did you come to decide that?
Okay, so another thing that I was considering when I was choosing MIT was that my brother is actually in Canada, and I applied to both Canada and the US. So I really had to consider if we could stay together, because I'm not going to UBC if I went to Canada. And whether we should stay together or we should like stay apart because UBC is pretty far from here. So yeah, that was something I considered, and I ended up choosing MIT because of the programs that I offered and more opportunities that we get here.
Right. Excellent. Yeah. Well, that's another factor that I hadn't talked about, which is family, right? Where everybody is, and circumstances of graduation dates and tests and family. It's complicated, and every situation is individual, and that's why it makes the story so interesting, because we all end up, for a series of reasons, doing what we're doing where we're doing it. So that's interesting. What has been, I think, the strangest thing or most surprising thing you've seen in coming from China to Canada or from Nigeria to the States? Is there anything you really miss from home, or is there anything different that you found strange? Anything you'd like to share about your experience of being so courageous and going across the world to go to university? You're all looking like, yeah. You see, with me, I always think food, because I'm a real foodie.
Yeah, definitely the food.
Yeah. Is there certain things that you're missing as far as food, or something else? I mean, obviously you're missing your families. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I also miss the weather because the weather here like fluctuates a lot, and it's not really as hot as it is in Nigeria. It gets really cold here, so I definitely miss the weather.
Yeah, that would be an adjustment, a huge adjustment. Yeah. I think the novelty of cold weather disappears quite quickly, and I'm a Canadian. And what parts of China did you two come from, Owen and Louis? Were you in areas where it was really warm, or was there any cold? I know it's different depending on the region in China. Where are you both from?
I'm from like Shenyang. It's actually like in the northeastern part of
Yes.
China.
Yes.
So I would say the climate there is around the same here.
I was going to say similar.
So,
Yeah.
so there is not too much like the climate shock to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say definitely like Montreal is colder.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've chosen a colder part of Canada.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. And Louis, where are you from?
I came from Beijing. It's a bit warmer than Shenyang, I guess. So coming here, I definitely felt it's a lot colder than I accustomed to. But and also Kingston, we're close to the Ontario Lake, so it gets even colder. Like it's a weird sort of climate here. So I definitely get that aspect of difference. And of course, food. We have a small city here. Sometimes it's hard to purchase the ingredients to cook like some of the home foods. So and part of that is just general culture shock, I guess. But so that's about it.
Great. Yeah, I think one of the first things that I saw is really important for international students is to find a grocer that carries some of the things that you like, because I think that's a big adjustment for everybody. And I also think when you're in a new place, something familiar is really good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry, so I just want to add one additional point regarding like something that I'm not very used to when I first came here is like the urban planning. I think it's quite different from at least where I was from. It feels like like when I was walking on the streets, especially like in those neighborhoods close to the university, like I found I couldn't tell like in detail, but it just feels something very different from say the neighborhoods in China, and also including the like how the indoor of the building, say like you live in some apartment or some like townhouse, the indoor is also like a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me some time to get used to this arrangement in terms
Right.
of, like the living space. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The living space is different, and how people use the space. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think different parts of the world use heating and cooling differently, so it's
Yes.
always an adjustment. Even when I studied in England, I thought it was colder in their buildings than Canada, and it's not as cold a country. But I think I was used to being in a really hot Canadian house in the winter. So, yeah. I guess why don't we end on another question that I'm very interested in. If you were going to speak to someone and they wanted to ask you, what is the most helpful thing to do? What kind of advice would you give someone who is thinking about going overseas to go to university? What would be a couple of things that you would tell them would be really important to think about? I'm sure there's a lot of things, but is there a couple of things that just kind of pop into mind? Yeah. I know, Elizabeth, this decision is newest for you. You're in your first year, but reflecting back, what are the things that you might suggest that a student think about when they're making their decision?
Maybe like what they want to get out of their uni experience. Definitely, that's a very big thing. Like what they want to, and where they want to see themselves in a couple of years. So I really think they should consider that. Also, possibly the location would be a good consideration, and then affordability also.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. Thank you. And Owen, what are a couple of things that you would ask the person to think about, or you suggest?
Sure. So in addition to like city or locations, I really recommend students to know how to search university websites to gather the useful information that they are looking for, because a lot of information regarding university programs are listed in their university websites, either like specific website for a major, or like the usual university calendar that lists the courses that a program could offer you. So I think it's important for a student to know how to effectively search through the information that they want to learn about, and then make the decision on behalf of these information that they know. I think that's a very important skill for like students entering the university. And also perhaps the students shouldn't be too obsessed with like I need to choose this like specific program, because after enrolling in the university, you still have a lot of freedom to change the program that you are in. It's not like an absolute decision that you made at the beginning. So you still have a lot of chances for you to switch majors if you change your interests, or like even like transfer to universities. So that's something that I give based on my experience.
Right. Well, I think you're right about websites. I think it's like an art in itself to really learn how to use a website, and they're all different. So yeah, there should be a course in how to use university websites, or maybe better, how should universities have their websites so they'd be more usable?
Yeah.
And I really like your point about it's not, you can change. There's flexibility, because I think that's one of the scariest things, when people think that I have to do it and then that's all I can do. That's what I have to do. So I think that's a great point. Yeah, you've both brought up really important points, and I think would take away some of the anxiety for students when they're trying to decide. So, Louis, what would you add to that? What other things would you advise a student to think about?
I think they touch on a lot of important aspects. So first of all, you definitely need to figure out what do you want out of this experiences. You're just for the experience, and after this, you're coming back to your own country. That would be a different choice. If you are looking for jobs, that would be one different another choice. And if you are looking to do deep research, that would be another path. So that's one of the considerations. I want to add to Owen's point about the program transfer. So it is true for most programs around the world, I think. But for a lot of the more popular or competitive programs, it's hard to transfer in as opposed to transfer out. So, for example, for Smith Commerce, there's only a very limited amount of space you could transfer in every year because there's not a lot of people going out of the program. So there's not enough space available for that. Just something you need to keep in mind before making a decision. And yeah, that's I think I basically concluded what they have said before.
Right, exactly.
So yeah, those are definitely some of the major points.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. So I would love to thank you all for being here and expressing your points of view and your experience with us. I've really been interested in your answers. You brought up some things I wouldn't have thought of, and it's been really enlightening. And I give you my very best wishes for the rest of your university path. And I want to congratulate you on your success thus far, and wish you the best in the future. It was really a pleasure to meet the three of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Thank you too.
Pleasure.
Thank you too.